I know it's late in New York, and I'm sure it's Sunday night. Um, but I'm basically testing this. So hold on, I'm just gonna wait a minute, see if anybody shows up. I just want to know if you guys can see and hear me because I'm doing it's kind of a risky thing. I'm doing I'm working at an internet cafe. What? What's that? Oh, just go to my YouTube channel. Yeah, try it. Just go to my YouTube channel. Hey guys, I see there's a few people on. Thanks for joining me. I'm at a cafe, so what I'm basically my house doesn't have Wi-Fi right now, and I'm trying to find a spot where I can do live streams. So I'm at a cafe using public Wi-Fi, which I know is like, you're not supposed to do that. Um, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So if you guys in the chat could just like, oh, I see a few people. Can see you. You guys hear me? Perfect. That's all I wanted to know is if you could see me and hear me. I didn't have anything prepared, but as said, we just moved into this house and there is no Wi-Fi, and I hopefully will have Wi-Fi in a couple of weeks. But there's a cafe near the house. Are you watching me, Leila? My girlfriend's over there. So hey guys, I don't have I don't have anything prepared. If you guys want to ask me any questions, you can feel free to do so. I was really doing this more of as a technical test. Um, if you guys can hear me and see me, that is the main thing. I'm using public Wi-Fi, which is pretty fast, and there's not too many people here, so it should be okay to be doing videos here. The staff was nice enough to turn off the music. Did you ask for water, Leila? Did you ask for water? Yeah. Okay. So, hey, the MJ515, Samson, Low, G Tech, and Ghost Assassin. That is a cool name. Anyway, I know it's Sunday night. I'm sure everybody's getting ready for rest for the week. But if you guys, if you have any questions about digital marketing or business or life or anything, you can just type it in. I'll just hang out here for about just a couple minutes. And do that. We just went to the beach. I'm in Thailand. If you guys don't know that, I live in Thailand on an island here, and we're at this very nice organic type cafe. As you can see, they have really good food. And yeah, I'm gonna try to do an announcement before I do a live stream next time, so there'll be more people. And really, I'm just interested in hearing what people want me to talk about. I did just record a very long video about AI anxiety that I hope will help people. It's about the anxiety people feel about artificial intelligence and how to deal with it, which I think is a pretty cool technology. I've been using a lot. What? Oh, there's a question. Is Google? Thank you. You're like my assistant. Is Google Ads dead or more alive than ever? Those are two extremes, I think. Two extremes. There's Google Ads dead or more alive than ever. I say if the news and the reports, the revenue from ads on Google, it goes up like every quarter. Even if they have a flat quarter or kind of a low quarter, it's still in the billions. So it is still a monster. And what's funny is that even though so many people are adopting ChatGPT, the market share that Google has is still crazy. And yeah, people are still, where do people go to advertise? They go on search. I say this again and again, is still the most powerful platform of any. It's the only place in the world where you can advertise directly to a customer input. You guys have to. I explain this a little bit in the course about interruption marketing versus search intent marketing, and it's just night and day. I mean, Facebook ads are super powerful. You can advertise on, TV or TV related apps. There's you can advertise on other websites. There's billions of dollars being made that way, but all those ads require the customer to be interrupted, and you have to use signals to try to figure out who is your target demographic. So if you're on Facebook, it's one of the most powerful platforms because they have all this data, and they can say, you say, I only want to target females age 50 and up to do this particular, maybe like a yoga course or something. And you're reaching generally your target audience, which is very powerful and it can be very effective, but you still have to catch people while they're doing other stuff to get to your product. And that takes a lot of money and effort because, how are you when you browse on Instagram or when you're on Facebook or TikTok and you see an ad, you probably ignore it most of the time. And then every once in a while, like maybe every 10 times you click on something, but they have to grab your attention. Google search is still a place where the person types into a box, I want to buy sneakers, I want to buy a TV, I need a dentist. And they have told you in that moment, I need to buy this particular thing. There's no guesswork. And that's why Google is the monster that it is. That kind of intention and communication directly from a customer, you can't get that when you're blasting your ad out to 10,000 people. Catch you next time, man. So Google Ads is still alive. It's adapting. Obviously, they have, they've changed Google searches now, transforming to adapt to AI. They have these AI citations, and many questions will be answered with an AI search result. Those search results are typically, as far as SEO goes, I say those search results for the Google AI results come from SEO. The SEO basics inform the AI search results. The AI isn't just magically like, oh, I know the answer. It has to actually search the web to find these answers on the SEO side. On the PPC side, you're still obviously serving search ads, shopping ads, all sorts of ads. The thing that's very interesting though about AI, which I know you didn't ask about it, but I was just thinking about it, is that AI comes up for so many searches that you do on Google, but local SEO and local PPC, which is what I basically teach in the course, because this is where most people start. Most people are not going to start their careers managing $500,000 a month in ad spend for some giant e-commerce customer. You're going to start out like I did and like all my students do with your local dentist or your local gym or some small business. And when you're doing these searches for small local businesses, you don't usually see the AI results. If you want to, you can do a Google search yourself and search for something very general. Ask a question like, how do I make pancakes? Or I don't know, something more sophisticated than that. You're probably going to get an AI result that's going to be pulled from, different websites. But type in like, I need a dentist near me, or I need to find a local florist or something. And you're not going to see any AI. You're just going to see ads and Google Maps. And that's what's very interesting. That's a huge part of the market. That is not, I'm not going to say it's AI proof exactly, but how would the AI answer those questions? It's clearly the intent of the person is like, I want a map. I want to see where the dentist is. So, again, you're not seeing AI over there. So I hope that answers your question. Guys, as I was saying, if you've just joined, I see we have a few more people. I am at a cafe here in Thailand. My house does not have Wi-Fi at the time, but I wanted to do a couple more of these live streams. So I'm in a public place. You may see people. You may see the staff walking around. You may hear cars, other customers. I'm using my headphones. Also, if you just joined, please confirm that you can hear me, that I'm clear. That's kind of why I started the live stream, and now I'm going to, answer any questions since I'm here. So if you guys have any questions about digital marketing jobs, the course, life, whatever, just feel free to type them in here. if I had to pivot to another skill set, what would I do? If I had to pivot to another skill set, what would I do? That's an interesting question, man. I mean, I still think digital marketing is still so rich. Um, I actually just this year, just for fun, I wrote a Kindle book using AI, and I think Kindle, it's not exactly a skill set. It's more of like an opportunity, to build a business. I think Kindle is very cool. Um, I think if I was just starting out, I would actually be um, I don't really, for myself, I wouldn't be thinking necessarily in terms of a job. I would be thinking in terms of selling stuff. And what I'm seeing is that AI is obviously blown up so much. So I would be um, I met a guy here who's like a super AI nerd, and he was telling me there's this there's this sort of hub of AI code, like you can access code. I think it's called Hug or something like that. And it's interesting because there is AI programs like there's a program called Otter AI that's I use for transcriptions. You can upload a video or audio file and it transcribes it in like a minute, which used to take hours. But that is based on an open source code, and there's open source code um, for a lot of different AI things that you can do that you could then the marketing is the thing. Like, so there's a bunch of these different platforms that can do automatic fast transcription. But Otter AI just had the right marketing, branding, and interface. They also made their platform really easy to use. And that's what's interesting is that you could, and that it's, a technical person will have access to the code, then you just need to find the market that needs it, and you need to then market it to them. So that's not really a skill set. Honestly, I don't have my pulse on a lot of different other skill sets. And thanks for telling me the audio is good. But what I would say is, if you go to Course Careers is kind of a competitor of mine in a way, a small way, because he does have a digital marketing course, but it's not really a competitor because, again, they don't have the kind of results we've had, and he has tons of other skills that he's teaching. I support his vision because his whole vision is helping people train for careers without college, without wasting 4 years of your time and your life and all that money, all that debt that's going to just lower your net worth over time. So Course Careers, they have accounting. Okay, now you're reminding me. I actually did have Brendan asked if you had to pivot to another skill set, what would you do? And just to repeat that, I would stick with digital marketing, but I've mentioned in my Skip College book also like accounting, um, accounting. I used to recommend bookkeeping, and I need to look into it again and see how much AI is affecting bookkeeping. I think, like with most things, bookkeeping, like AI is going to make it easier for bookkeepers, but you still need, again, a human being to double check everything, no matter how fast it can process stuff. But he's also got some stuff about medical device sales, HVAC, plumbing, architectural drafting, tech sales is his biggest thing, and construction. Honestly, man, personally, this is not necessarily what I recommend for other people, but I kind of myself, I love digital stuff, but I just recently was involved in like real estate and construction, and I was like amazed at the process of building a house. And I've also seen, if any of you guys are watching, there is this massive shortage of workers in the skilled trades in the US. It's kind of insane because everyone's been the propaganda to just have everybody go to college, even if just like you don't have any business, like you're studying liberal arts or something completely irrelevant. Everyone's been pushed to go to college. These skilled trade jobs, like anything, whether it's plumbing or being an electrician or working in construction, and these jobs and HVAC. So Shane Hummus, he's my friend and my affiliate. He has a huge YouTube channel. His brother just started a YouTube channel about HVAC. He said his brother is in a position where like there's no HVAC technicians. Like there's so few that like they can't find them, and when they hire them, they pay them like $70,000 or $80,000 entry level because it's a real world solid skill set that, again, there's just not enough people because all these people are going to college and studying nonsense and graduating in debt. So the skilled trades, there's a ton of opportunities there. That's also, you have to, I think most people like myself, like I'm very comfortable, we're all very comfortable online. And I think, having remote work, digital marketing is still amazing for work-life balance. The culture at most of these agencies is very good. But you are essentially on a computer screen all day. If you realize you're not the type of person, I know some people who may decide they want to, work outdoors, landscaping, or do something with their hands. I met a guy who was, classic story. He was in college, hated it, and then he dropped out and became an elevator repair technician. Which, and I think he got a lot of grief for that from people, because everyone was like, "Oh, you're not getting a college degree, you're a loser." But he was making six figures, and he is repairing elevators, and he loved it because it's very physical and it's mental, but it's also, using your hands and things like that. So there's a lot of options. But if you do decide, the digital route, I still think, all these fields are still very, very promising. They're just, adjusting. Even coding is still very, very good. I mentioned this in my other video. When it comes to coding, everyone's like, "Oh, AI is just gonna take over all the coding." Well, AI makes a lot of mistakes, and these companies need people who actually understand the code. Because, like I mentioned in my video, like if you have all these senior developers who are just basically now using AI to do what junior developers used to do, over time, there's not going to be enough senior people that know how to fix the mistakes the AI makes. And when the AI makes mistakes, it is a freaking mess. The AI will get better and better, but when it makes a mistake with code, or if you've ever worked enough with AI and you've seen it make a mistake and start hallucinating and then trying to like backtrack, and then you're kind of in this loop, you need human beings who know the actual skill set to guide the AI. And then there is just AI as a skill set in that prompting, learning how to make the AI perform at its top thing. That's also becoming very important. Someone else says, yeah, if I'm still thriving in digital marketing, but if something were to happen, I'm pivoting to the trades. It's interesting. Yeah, it's good to have options, but I don't think it'll come to that. I think it's more like, to be honest, I think myself, I'm a person who's like, I've been on the computer for like 20 years. I'm kind of, I still like it, but I might want to do something a little more. I like to do more outdoor stuff now. Elsie Day here. 5 years SEO. So many people. Elsie Day. Hey, Elsie. I think I remember you. I remember you from the course. 5 years SEO. So many people think SEO is done. Will GEO see us through? Is there a skill set we could add to stay competitive? And laid off 2 times in the last 3 years. Well, I think, I'm sorry to hear that. I think layoffs, when you get laid off, that can be an emotional blow. I think you need to, just keep adding to your skill set and get back out there and keep applying. GEO is not a replacement for SEO. It is, okay, so GEO is like generative engine. It's like AI SEO is what she's asking about. Search engines are not magical buttons. They're not like the all-seeing Oracle eye. They don't just press a button. They have to search the web and search the websites. They have to access information. And when they access the information, they're using, they have to organize. That's, I guess, is my point. The search engine either has to pivot, the AI has to either pivot off an existing search engine or use its own version of a search engine. Because what is a search engine? It's something that has to make sense of the billions and trillions, petabytes of information on the web. And the only way to do that is to use the SEO protocols. Is there a skill set you could add to stay competitive? Yeah, you should be learning how to basically appeal to the AI results in Google, which is something we're just adding to the course. There is a way to structure and honestly, it still comes back to the basics of SEO. I just talked with a student of mine. I don't want to say his name or their client because he's got some non-disclosure agreements, but basically he showed me there was a question. I don't really want to say the question because I I don't want to reveal the client, but like question about something kind of technical that had to do with like, what does this device do? And the AI answer, the first answer and the first result in the AI was his client, because of how he structured his header tag to answer the question in a way the AI likes to see answers. Is basically he's learned enough to understand like this is what does the AI like that's also congruent with the general SEO. Because again, the AIs have to organize this information very quickly and then serve it up to the viewer. So I think that you should again stay involved in keep continuing education and just keep going. Definitely don't take layoff personally. I've been laid off. I've been fired in my career. Don't take it personally, but like I said, I don't think that the fundamentals of SEO are continuing to be necessary for the AIs to access and organize this information. What is this? Also, do you think there's an upper limit to AI growth where they'll eventually plateau and hit diminishing return? We'll already see it. We are just beginning this thing, and we're going to find that it's just like, guys, I'm a little older than you, so I remember when the internet came into existence. I mean, and in crypto, obviously, you guys remember crypto. It's like there's kind of a euphoria in the beginning, and then a crash, and then it comes back up. Like in the internet back in the late 90s, there was a bubble. They called the .com bubble in 2000. The stock market just exploded because people saw, I guess they did see the long-term potential of the internet, but it wasn't going to happen in a year. It took 10 years. It took 15 years. So there was a bubble and a crash. And I think the same thing will happen with AI. People see the possibilities of it, and then there will be, as you said, there may be a ceiling. But then I do think AI is a little bit different because I think I can just see what it's already doing. So I think over time, it's very hard to predict what it will do. But the thing I'm staying true to, and I keep repeating, is that it is not a replacement for human beings and human oversight. It cannot, even if it becomes the most, sophisticated AI in the entire world, and it already is very sophisticated. It can answer these very complicated questions. It can do complicated math. It can do, legal research. It's still a prediction machine. It predicts the next word at a very high level. If it screws up, if it has bad data, or if it, again, makes one little mistake, it starts hallucinating. And at the end of the day, human beings are needed to oversee this thing and guide it and make it work really well. These ideas like the singularity and the AGI are all theoretical, and there's no evidence. I don't know what the singularity is, but I do know that people, I think also, as I said in my video, there's a lot of emotional, like people are very triggered by AI, so sometimes they come up with really weird ideas. Will PMax be more and more common, says Late Great. PMax, guys, performance max on Google Ads. Yeah, I mean, but PMax is, I don't know what you mean by more and more common, but basically, I imagine you're asking in the context of like, the jobs and, it's Google's push towards automation. PMax, whatever AI updates they keep putting into the system are all trying to automate things from, give Google more power over the account, and it just never works out. It cannot automatically start producing results for an account without data, and it needs manual oversight. As I said in my other video I'm about to publish, is that Google has a profit motive. They have to make their clients money. They want you to be happy. It's like it's like a casino. They want, a casino has to let some people win sometimes so that it keeps the excitement and the possibility of winning, but not that much, or they won't make any money. And Google it's very powerful, and it will make, people money. But it can't make it too efficient. It can't make their ads. And I said I'm just repeating what I said in my other video, which is that if a client makes $50,000, they have to spend $10,000 to make $50,000, a customer on AdWords. Google is making $10,000 almost completely profit, because what are they providing? Just these clicks, right? let's say the AI or the Performance Max comes in and they're like, hey, this is going to make everything so efficient. Now you're only going to pay $7,000 for that $50,000 revenue. No, now you're only going to pay $5,000. Now you're only going to pay $3,000. Now you're only going to pay $1,000. But what's happened is Google's profit has dropped 90%, and the customer is making the same amount of money. That cannot happen at scale. They'll lose. Their stock price will drop. It's not possible. It's not possible for them to do that. They can't. So I think these automated systems like Performance Max are always going to be limited. And then they'll probably launch something like AI Max or something like that, and it'll have the same thing. Let's see. Having been for the industry for 3 years, say PMax has never taken off. It's still supplemental with search campaign being the bread and butter. Yeah. And also remember, guys, Performance Max what I just said earlier. I was talking about Google search is so powerful because it's really people saying to they're telling the search engine, I want to buy sneakers. I want to buy a they're telling you what they want. That's it, as you said, the bread and butter. Once you get into Performance Max, then they're pushing the ad out on all these other platforms, whether it's YouTube or Display Network, meaning other blogs, and like you're on CNN.com and your ad's showing up on the side. It's not as effective. I will answer this. I don't usually talk about Matt, but Matt Tran is awesome. He's a great guy. He's a friend of mine, and he retired. Let's say that. He's doing very, very well. He runs a shoe business, and it's a great business. So if anyone ever wonders about that, Matt is doing very well. He has a beautiful family, and I think he's much happier that he's off YouTube. All right, guys. Some other folks here at the cafe. If you're just joining me, as I said, this started as just kind of a test to see if the audio would work because I don't have Wi-Fi in my house. I'm at a cafe. It's public. There's people around. I see people eating breakfast nearby, so I don't want to. I'm kind of that really loud person that's talking in the cafe. I don't want to bother people too much. So I'm gonna wrap this up in a few minutes. But if you have questions for me about digital marketing careers, AI, money, life, Thailand, feel free to type them in. You can see the workers background. Yes, it's about noon here, so it's about midnight in New York, and it's like 9 in LA. But yeah, guys, I really think there's patterns in history when it comes to AI and technology. These advances, like it's hard to. The car was invented. These things were shocking. The car was like everyone was using horses for decades, centuries. Suddenly this car comes in, freaking out because this industry is built on horses, and they're like being affected. And those people who were in the horse industry had to move into the car industry. That you've been in the industry and seen a lot of trends. Still able to see me? Sorry. Again, I'm on public Wi-Fi, so if you drop or anything, just people coming into the restaurant. There's more people coming into the restaurant. I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want to lose you guys. It's more significant than other trends. It's going to take more seriously. It's definitely to take seriously. Definitely. But again, it's a tool. It's there to make things more efficient. But there's also, as I said, people are in a very reactive state, freaking out about it. They're I'll try to see the girls behind me. People are very uncertain. As far as digital marketing goes, it's significant in that it is it's more significant than any of this. There's been a lot of algorithm updates. There have been a lot of new features and tools that have been introduced. But it's a big disruptor. So I would definitely take it seriously and definitely learn it. Learn it. When you use it, you're going to see the benefits and the limitations of AI. Like I've used AI so much, and I've like some days I think it's like a miraculous. It's absolutely amazing, and other times it's like making up things that are just nonsense. And I see how much human guidance it needs. I guess that's the main thing. So what you want to do, Elsie and anyone else, is you want to just get really good at using the AI to make yourself more efficient, and just always be bettering yourself and always be networking and talking to other people in the industry, getting new clients, getting more experience. But stay current, but don't get too into the hype around it. It's I think if you're doing stuff that's creative, you'll naturally. I've used it for so many things just naturally. I've used it when I was um, in working on a house, like coming up with ideas. I've used it when planning trips. I've used it for a lot of stuff. It's starting to get a little more crowded in here, so I may wrap this up. I hope that was helpful. Anybody who has any more questions here, feel free to type them in. I think there is, what I try to talk about in the videos, I think there's again, this fear of technology is like very natural. When you're in the fear state, it's very hard to see any opportunities. Everything feels very overwhelming, and everything feels like it's not, like it just feels like you don't know what to do. When you get out of that fear state, then you can take a deep breath, and you kind of see all the possibilities. I mean, like I said, I wrote a book using AI. Oh, that is loud. I wrote a book in about a week using AI that I've been selling. Sorry about that. It's a lot of muffler issues in this part of the world. uh, I wrote a book using AI, and I've been selling it on Amazon, and it's a good book. I mean, I was pretty blown away, but it didn't write it clicking a button and saying write this book. I had to. It took like 12 or 15 hours of my time, like very intense mental energy. I also had to know what I wanted the book to look like, and just take everything it outputted and just put it into the book. You need a visionary, a person who is you know who is I said, it's like a driver or the orchestra, the conductor or something like that. I had to take the stuff it would output and make so many adjustments over time. So I think it's probably distracting with all the people in the background. I hope to have my own Wi-Fi very soon. And if anything, I'll try to do these live streams at like early in the morning when there's really nobody here. It's very, very quiet. Um, Anybody have any questions? Last minute questions? It definitely feels like panic and fear, especially in my new company team. So you are working, so that's great. You guys, also understand, like, careers ebb and flow. There's like ups and downs. We're losing a ton of organic traffic to AI, and we're on the radar. But you do understand, and the other thing is, I do know that some agencies are having trouble adapting to this, and some agencies are adapting very quickly. You don't really lose organic traffic. It just comes. It just it's like a shift in the algorithm. It is like a shift in the algorithm, I should say, because again, the AI is pulling maybe different websites than your clients' websites. If you look at Google, anyone can go on Google right now, do a search for anything, and then when you see the AI results, there's little website references. That's still SEO. That's so it's really a matter of getting more tuned in to what the AI is looking for to have those results. And I think in that sense, when you ask this, in that sense, it is similar to an algorithm update. I meant the technology is so powerful, and it is so good at thinking and reasoning in a way we've never seen before. But as far as SEO goes, it's really like a crazy big algorithm shift. I've been around since 2010, so I saw like Panda, Penguin, all those things. And when those things started, yeah, agencies that had been getting traffic reliably using older methods panicked and freaked out because they said, "Oh my God, we don't know what to do because now there's a whole new set of rules from Google." This is just a matter of learning what those AI rules are. And there's still plenty of opportunity because people are still, because again, the AI needs to draw its data from somewhere. This is why researching search terms is key, I'd imagine, to see what's trending and adjust accordingly. Yeah, and Elsie, it also could be, I mean, look, I don't know where you're working, but, not every agency has, some agencies get lazy, some people aren't. Like, what Brendan said about search terms, like, long tail keywords, questions and answers, frequently asked questions. Like, there might be somebody that's using very basic SEO, and there's another one that's saying, "Hi, I'm going to really understand this niche and what kind of questions are people answering it, and make sure our content answers those questions in this particular way that the AI likes those kinds of answers, so it's going to draw to it." People aren't going, yeah. People aren't going on the websites themselves. That's the issue. It could be. I think it depends on the depth of the question. I know it's true. If there's like I think there's different levels of questions that people have. Like sometimes I'll have a quick question, like, I just have a random question, like what is, what kind of, how much watering does this tree need, or something like that. And then you look at the quick answer from the AI. If you have more in-depth question, at some point, what I've noticed is that even if I'm using ChatGPT, at some point I end up on a website. Like I'll talk with the thing, and then at some point I want to click over to the website and get more in-depth information. But that that could be the case as well. And as far as like advertising goes, I know that's going to end up. There's going to be ads within the AI at some point. We're envisioning prompt building for citation, in-house fintech company, tracking citations and mentions rather than sessions. Yes, it sounds like you guys are already on top of it. So we're envisioning prompt building for citation, in-house fintech company, tracking citations and rather than sessions. Yeah. People are targeting prompts rather than keywords. I'm sure actually you probably know more about this than I do, because I'm more into the paid search side of things. But my whole point with all of this is that there's always these kinds of disruptions, and the only thing to do is to grow with it. Before Google came around, there were all these, you had the yellow pages and all these like local newspapers and all this stuff, and then Google kind of took over industries. But then there were new opportunities, before 2000, when I was graduating college, there was like no Google, and I didn't have the opportunity to be a search engine marketer or do SEO or do, reach people like you on YouTube, none of that. So it did, like Google knocked out a lot of these, we used to have the yellow pages, if you can remember that, anyone watching, or the white pages. They literally they'd send this giant phone book to your house. Maybe they still do it, but people used it. Like that's where you'd go to get information about local businesses. You'd go into this giant book, and that was it. That was the place to be. That was the only place people could go. And Google just, it was just gone. And there are a lot of businesses like that got, that went away. And then there were new businesses. So we're in one of those transition times right now, and that's what I think it freaks people out, because there's going to be stuff that goes away or stuff that gets more difficult in SEO, or people are going using the AI and maybe not going directly to the website as much. Then there's going to be some new opportunity that pops up. The problem is that you don't know. You have to just keep playing the game, like your agency. It sounds like they are doing what they need to be doing. You just have to keep playing the game and see what comes up, because that's what's freaking people out right now, is people don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's similar to the tech bubble and drop in 2001, because people saw there was some opportunity, but nobody knew what Google would become or how it would actually end up boosting jobs in the economy. But there was a period of time where people were freaked out. I hope that's helpful. But it sounds like what's your next country destination? I'm going to answer that in a second. So when you say there are thousands of DM jobs available just off browsing LinkedIn, checked using filters. There are tons of ghost jobs postings from unrelated fields when I type DM jobs. The filters vary from, sometimes when I go in there, they're spot on. Sometimes they're a bit off. I use that example to just show you that there is an abundance of jobs. If you actually go through every single job, you are going to find thousands of jobs. You're going to find thousands of them. I don't know if it's going to be exactly the amount that that it shows at the top. And that's also on LinkedIn. Go on Indeed, go on ZipRecruiter. There's tons. And what I tell people, when I'm doing these walkthrough videos and I'm talking about how many jobs there are, it's like you're not going after all those jobs. You need one job. So when I started doing digital marketing walkthrough videos back in 2016, there were like 10,000 jobs or 15,000. And by the way, you can't actually look at all those jobs on LinkedIn because after about 10 or 20 or 30 pages, it like stops. It stops. You need to put in filters. You go state by state, or you go city by city, or you go, remote, or you go more specific. But I would just caution you against, well, first of all, sometimes I'll see, if you just type in digital marketing, sometimes you will see there's like a, telesales job or something. Yeah, that happens. I don't think it takes away from the fact that there's a lot of jobs. And the second thing is this ghost job thing. I don't know if I did a video with that. What does that mean exactly? Like, nobody knows what a ghost job is. This is one of those, I really can't stand that term because I think there's even a couple of YouTubers who like to use that because it just creates like a sense of outrage and anger. The idea being that there's a fake job that doesn't exist, that, I don't know why it would exist. Somehow they're trying to fish for information. What happens a lot of times is I've had people say, oh, there's so many ghost jobs because they applied for a job and they didn't hear back. Now, this was probably a real job that actually did hire somebody, but because the person didn't hear back from them, they then jumped to this outrageous conclusion that it was a ghost job. Or it could be an agency. What happens at agencies a lot is that they'll put up a position and then they may tell you, oh, we're not hiring right now. What they're doing is they're trying to build a pipeline of talent. They're trying to sort of gather resumes for the next time they do have a job opening. But also, are you typing in specifically digital marketing? Are you typing in search engine manager, PPC, SEO, analytics, the specific keywords? And are you just using LinkedIn? And again, I don't expect anybody to actually apply for, 90,000 jobs, 50,000, not even 1,000 jobs, It's like the point of the course is to get one job, And I had people getting jobs back when there were many, many fewer jobs. And the economy is slower than it was, but it's not bad. Like, people have a tendency, and I see this all the time, is that if you focus too much on the broad picture, then you miss out on what could be right in front of you. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing in the bigger sense. There's still billions of dollars being spent every year on advertising. Companies still need people to manage their advertising. Now, I think even more than ever with AI, it needs human oversight. And you're just looking for that one opportunity. So you don't need, 20 or 30, all these thousands. I just do that to, again, illustrate the prevalence of this, this industry. I hope that answered your question. You guys, again, I'm almost running out of battery here, so you can ask me any more questions if you have them. But this is the problem. I was thinking about this, like when I made my digital marketing course back in the day, and I didn't even do any research. I just had this vision that I could help people, and I did. I wasn't. The more you read the news or look at the broader picture of things, the more you are distracting your mind and focusing, honestly, on most things that are negative. Because, I even say, like, during the Great Depression, which was a terrible time in U.S. history, with 25% unemployment, which we've never, ever even come close to that ever since, there was still 75% employment. That's pretty crazy to think about. And now, unemployment rates at like they do it in 4.6 or whatever, 4%, and usually it's at 3.9 or it's these percentage points. So don't be sucked into this nonsense on the news like this or that. Keep hustling if you're in the course, and I'm going to do some more videos about this. And yes, it might be a situation. It's always been that way though. You send out 20 resumes, you only get one response. That's normal. Sales, it's been that way since the beginning of time. I used to do telemarketing. You'd say you could do 100 calls before you get one sale. In online, e-commerce, conversion rates. A good conversion rate could be like 3%. 3 out of every 100 people actually purchases something. When you're trying to get leads, a good conversion rate could be 20, 30, maybe 40%. But that's just a free, give me your email address. So the conversion rate on a job it's not going to be high for anybody at any time, even when the economy's up or down. What matters is that you stay focused and you stay positive about it. I'm trying to find that right fit for that agency or that company. I'm going to focus on the ones that are in front of me. I'm going to focus on the 10 resumes I sent out today. I'm going to customize them, and so on. So anyway, guys, let me know if this is helpful. When I'm doing these live streams, I'm just talking in a cafe, looking at my girlfriend, hopefully not annoying the people around me too much. And I hope that it's making a positive impact. So if you could give me some feedback, I'd appreciate it. Just let me know if this is helpful. If you have any questions, comments, criticism, whatever. I'm going to start wrapping up. Appreciate the live stream. Time and knowledge. Take care and be safe. You too, Brendan. Thank you for that. And thank you, Elsie, for contributing. Feel free to hit me up. And thanks for your comments. And thank you, Remy, for your comment. I hope that was helpful. The thing about, well, I think I already kind of answered the whole question. The focus and the mindset is just so important, guys. I was just thinking that we, as a culture, like when I was growing up, we had like 3 news stations, and you had a newspaper that came once or twice a day. You just didn't have access to this kind of constant global stuff, like information. I didn't know what was going on in this country or that country with all these people on social media. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me because there's people behind me. I know this is not the ideal place to do a live stream. This was very helpful. Meseret Kida. Thank you. I'm glad that was helpful. So if you guys could drop me a line, I would appreciate it. It's very funny to be talking into the internet. But I was saying is that we have access to so much information. It's really addictive, and I think it's not helpful. It can be destructive to have access to every little thing. If you turn on the news, and I used to work at the news. I worked at Fox News years ago. I can tell you about that sometime. 20 years ago when I was out of college. It's just designed to find the worst things that have happened on the planet and highlight them so that you will watch. That is it. And when you realize that, you say, like, I'm getting access and I'm putting my attention on all this external stuff, even the stuff about the economy. It's like, okay, generally, I always say to I see people, even in my family, who watch the news all the time. They say, listen, the news, what you should do is you check it once a day or better way once a week. There's nothing that's so important, really, that you really need to be paying attention to it multiple times a day. And when it comes to things like the economy or AI or whatever, you have a general sense of things is good, like in 2020, it would have been good to know what's going on, right? But other than a global thing, it's not helpful to you to look at this. And I see this happen with people. It's like, people will send out like 5 resumes and they don't get a response. And then they read a news article about how the economy is such and such. And then they draw a conclusion and they'll go, oh, it's not going to work. And the other attitude is very negative. And they don't realize how that negativity is now affecting every application that they send out, every interview. Even if they get an interview, they might be thinking about that. That's why in my course, and I say, watch my interviews, just saturate your brain and your mind with positive stuff. It makes a huge difference. I even found this year when I wasn't doing that for a period of time, It's not good. There's no benefit to actually knowing too much about what's going on in the world, in my opinion. There's no benefit to it unless if you're a politician, you're a congressman, you work in the nonprofit world, then sure, you need to be informed. But if you're the average person, what do you need to know about all this stuff for at a deep level? You have a general idea. I don't know what's going on now in Washington. I don't care. I care more about what's happening with, my life, my family, and my students. And I hope when you're looking for your job, you really have to make that your primary goal, and stay positive about it, and understand that even when things are difficult, and there are still positive things happening. There are still companies hiring. You have to really put that in the forefront of your mind. And it's really tough because someone is pulling for that attention. You could even say, I've had students do this. This is not just now. This is in 5 years ago. People would say, like, I'm going to get a job in digital marketing, and their family and friends will say, oh, that's BS. That's a scam. Go get, finish your degree. And there'd be all this negative reinforcement. And basically, people who listen to their families, then they lose their focus. And the people who stay true to their own vision and listen to a positive possibility, they get a positive result. And it sounds easier than it is, but it's so important, guys. Really important. Pay attention to what you put into your brain and into your mind. Really. I know it doesn't even make logical sense at times. I think it is logical, but my life when I was younger, I struggled financially for years because I wasn't present to the background kind of negativity or cynicism I had. When I started to really take that seriously, everything changed. That's when I discovered digital marketing, and when I ended up making the course, and all these other cool things happened. So when it comes to all the stuff in the world right now, I know it's tough. Focus on the positive and what's possible. That's why I do with the walkthrough videos, because again, there's still a lot of hiring happening. There's a lot of commerce happening. We have no sense of it. I'm in this part of the world, and these economies, are a fraction of the size of the U.S. And the average salary of a person here where I'm staying is a few $100s a month. It's nothing compared to the West, and the abundance of jobs and the abundance of commerce. And I say just like buying and selling. Even when things are very, very slow, there's going to be Google's profits are up, means people are advertising, things are happening. And it may be slower than it was a year or two ago. It may take you 100 applications instead of 50 applications, but you still keep going. So, Remy wants to know, ever know what happened to Improvement Pill? Did he sell his channel? Yes, he did. Improvement Pill, I'm friends with him, and he's very, very private, so I won't say anything specific, but I will say that I believe there was some kind of a transition there, to my knowledge. But again, I wasn't there for any kind of deal, so I don't know. But it's still a great channel, and I think what he created in those cartoony videos was really, really awesome. All right, so there's folks here. Well, I got 22 people now, which is more than I had. And if you just joined, I'm actually going to be wrapping up. Sorry to say, I just started this to test the audio because I'm at a public cafe. As you can see, there are people going by. If you just hopped on, or if anybody here has any more questions for me, don't worry. I could stay on longer to answer questions, or again, just give me some feedback if you found this helpful, or if you'd like me to talk about something else in a future one. Just let me know. I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I'll check the chat, and if I don't hear anything, I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, it's 12:30. All right, guys. I don't see any action in the chat, so it's been good hanging out with you. You can also comment on the video. I guess I was literally planning to just jump on and do an audio check and jump off, but now I've talked for an hour, so hope you guys found it helpful. And yeah, next time I do one of these, I will try to make an announcement so that more people can show up. Next potential live stream. I'm gonna try to do. I can't give you a date. I will try to post it though, because the best time for me to do this, and as I said, I don't have Wi-Fi in my house right now, is to come to this cafe at 10 in the morning here, which would be 10 p.m. Eastern time. But I'm busy. I'm busy most of the week, so maybe Friday or maybe Thursday night. But I will try to let you guys know. Sorry, I have not been in this situation before where I don't have Wi-Fi, but it's temporary, and we'll be fixed soon. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.